Welcome to Bed Crime Stories Podcast. I'm your host, T, and if true crime is your jam, and like me, you enjoy delving into unsolved cases, trying to figure out who done it, please consider subscribing. Also, if you find value in my content, please hit that like button. Summer Wells' father, 57-year-old Don Wells, seems to have believed from day one that Summer was deceased. And I personally think it's because he knew that Summer had passed away. I don't buy into the idea that Don doesn't know what happened to Summer. Let me explain why. From the start, Don has been letting everyone know that he doesn't believe Summer is alive. Yes, I know he talked about her being abducted over and over, but at the same time he was making statements that indicated that he believed Summer was deceased. For example, on the night Summer went missing, Don spoke with his neighbor Fred Hill. Hill told Ziggy that during his conversation with Don that night, Don mentioned that he would see Summer in the resurrection. If Don really said that, that pretty much means that he'd already given up hope that Summer was alive. But of course, that conversation with Fred Hill is just hearsay. No worries. We do have proof that Don was talking about believing in the resurrection days after Summer vanished. Listen to what he says on June 18th, 2021, just 3 days after Summer's disappearance, when he first shows up before cameras. I know that's hard to hear, so let me tell you what he says. As he's grasping on to his eldest son, who appears deeply distressed, Don says, "We believe in the resurrection." I can pretty much guarantee that you won't find any other parent of a missing child who truly has no idea where their child is at saying those words just 3 days after the event. Later, Don tells Dr. Phil and others that when he pulled up to 110 Ben Hill Road on June 15th and saw his 3 boys and a neighbor down near the creek, he knew in that instant Summer was gone.
Here's my road. I pull down here. Here's the creek right here. I notice my 3 boys are together and they're over here looking. And then I looked over that way and seen my neighbor coming this way towards my boys, and my heart sunk because I knew she was abducted. I knew she was gone.
Don Wells has never provided a logical response as to why he felt that way. For me, him knowing in his gut that Summer was gone, based simply on seeing his kids and a neighbor in that area of his property, just has never made sense. What does make sense about that statement, however, is that maybe Don said that as a way of justifying right from the very beginning why he and Candace weren't searching and why they'll never be searching for Summer, and why they'll never go out and hang up flyers and never push themselves in front of cameras to share Summer's face in hopes that someone will see her and bring her back. Parents who belong to the actual club of those whose child went missing without the parents' knowledge are in a very different state of mind on the day their child disappears. Typically, they're frantic, desperate to get their hands back on their child. They're pleading for whoever has their child to please bring him or her back. They can't control their tears. They're heartbroken. They're scared. They're not jumping to the conclusion that their child is no longer living, and they're not accepting at that point that they're going to see them in the resurrection. Don has made other statements as well that would indicate knowledge of Summer being deceased. On a phone call with Chris McDonough of the Interview Room that I believe was recorded in August of 2021, just 2 months after Summer's disappearance, Don describes a dream that he had about Summer.
Do you think she's alive?
I believe Don's dream and Candace's dream reveal truths about what may have happened to Summer. Hear me out. Dreaming, we know, is part of the human experience. Everyone dreams, even if some people have no memory of them. But what do the experts think? I read an article on the WebMD website by Salin Boyles entitled, "Do Dreams Reveal Hidden Truths?" In the article, Boyles poses the question, are dreams simply not very meaningful products of sleep-related neural findings, or are they a window into our unconscious selves? In the article, Boyles quotes behavioral psychologist Deidre Barrett, PhD, who has studied dreams for more than a decade, and who is also an assistant professor of psychology at Harvard Medical School. Boyles says that she's come to believe that, like waking thoughts, some dreams are important and others are not. Here's a quote from her. "Many of our waking thoughts are really trivial and repetitive, and some are profound and meaningful. I think dreams are the same way. Some reveal hidden truths, but some are just noise." End quote. I have to believe that if Don and Candace know that Summer is deceased, and if they found that event traumatic, it's going to find its way into their dreams. When Chris McDonough asks Don if he thinks Summer's alive, Don doesn't say yes or no. Instead, he starts talking about his dream. And one of the things he said was that maybe Summer says to him in the dream are her last thoughts. The words "last thoughts" indicate that Don believes Summer is no longer alive. McDonough also mentions that the last time he spoke to Don, Don told him that maybe Summer's dead and buried. Don's dream has him working at a construction site where he sees Summer playing on the floor. When he asks her, "Where were you?" she replies, "Down the road." He also said that the dream was like heaven. I believe the "down the road" bit may mean that Summer is buried down the road from Ben Hill Road. Don mentioning heaven also speaks to where he thinks Summer ended up ultimately. As he talks about the dream, Don gets emotional and choked up. In fact, I think it's the only time I can recall hearing him get emotional and cry. I believe that if Don Wells has ever loved anyone, it was Summer. If anyone would have gone searching for Summer, I believe it would have been Don. Dudley Agin told Heels on the Ground that Summer was Don's prize. Don't you think if his prize was missing and he didn't know where she was, Don would have been driving all around Beech Creek on June 15th or the days after? I know the police probably refrained him from searching on June 15th, but he certainly could have gone looking after that. Don't you think he would have been tearing up the woods around his home and in the surrounding areas? Don crying and being choked up when he's talking about Summer in that dream point to Don knowing that Summer's gone and she's never coming back, as in she's deceased. Just as his alleged words to Fred Hill on the evening of June 15th about seeing Summer in the resurrection did, and his mention of the resurrection again in his initial appearance before a camera 3 days after Summer vanished did. The belief that Summer is deceased is actually a reoccurring theme in Don's words to interviewers. I believe Don is making it quite clear that in his mind, Summer is no longer among the living, which leads me to wonder if when Don told Chris McDonough that he believed that Summer was dead and buried, and that Summer told him in the dream that she was down the road, was he speaking the truth? Will Summer be found dead and buried down the road from 110 Ben Hill Road? I think there's a very good likelihood that if Summer is found, it will be down the road from the Wells property. Until the next time on Bed Crime Stories. Hey, happy Friday. In anticipation of the weekend, please hit that like button.